Hi, everyone. It's Diane Evans with stampinwithdiane.com. I'm an independent Canadian Stampin' Up demonstrator here in the interior of British Columbia. So if you're joining me through YouTube, welcome. Make sure that you're subscribed, and you can get subscribed just down below here. And if you're off of Facebook, make sure that you say who you are. If you're on my Facebook group, and if you're on my Facebook page, I will see. Beware that this is part of a live presentation, so I may be talking back and forth with different people that are on here. They may ask questions that you might have yourself, so that's the way that I kind of like to do this. So I'm excited to show you the project today. I'm not doing a fancy fold card. I'm doing a 3D project, which is like a pop-up pull-out box. Let me just go on down to my desktop here, and we'll kind of sort around that. So basically what I'm doing is I am using this beautiful Countryside Inn designer series paper, and we are going to make a 3D box that looks like this. It's a pop-up pull-out box that goes like this, and then it pops up with the saying on there. Now, I had done this yesterday in my team, or not yesterday, on Saturday, on our team get-together. So I wanted to share it, and I told them that I would also share the different measurements and show how to do this with directional paper. Now, the paper that I picked to do the box that I'm actually going to be doing today has got very, very faint designers directional paper, but a hint, and as they said on Saturday, they said pick paper that's not directional, but honestly it looks great when it's with designer series paper and not. Now, this originally came from Julie DiMatteo, but she had done this a while back when there was the stitched rectangles, so I had to do some modifications on it. She got it from another demonstrator, so that's how we work as a community. If we post anything, it's like share it, show different people how to do this sort of stuff. So it's quite fun. I love 3D boxes and that sort of stuff. So like I say, it was part of our team make and take that we had on Saturday. Don't forget, this is beautiful paper. And remember, the designer series paper sale is still on until, good heavens, it's still on until the end of the month. Remember, yeah, you can get different sort of stuff on your designer series paper. Hello, Rabina and Laura and Pam. You're from New Brunswick. Awesome. All right, so I'll tell you what the measurements are on this card. This one happens to be, and I'm using this designer series paper. I've got a real tickle in my throat here. Let me just take a little sip and see if that helps. Excuse me. It has boho blue in it. It's got night of navy. It's got misty moonlight, beautiful colors that are together. Oh my goodness. Can you tell me whether or not is the sound okay on here? I'm sure that it is. All right, so my piece of cardstock here is 7 inches by 7 inches, and I've scored it at 1 inch and 2 inch on all 4 sides. And then what you want to do is you want to come in with your bone folder and get a really good crease on all of those sides. Now, I always say fold into the mountain. On this particular project, you also want to fold into the mountain on all of your project because that's very, very important because this box is going to fit it's a close-fitting box, but you need it to be that kind of a box in order so that you get that pull-out mechanism on there. And a lot of times what I might want to do is just fold back on those ones just to make sure that it's a really good score line. But remember, we want to leave this where you're folding into the mountain. And then this part is an awful lot of the trimming. Oh my goodness. Had all these scissors. Here we go. Now, you know what, your paper snips, and this is going to be the easiest way to cut this. is just cut straight up on this side here. And we are going to cut straight up here. And we're going to do that on all 4 sides. Just like this. Like I say, this box is this square is 7 inches by 7 inch. And we're just going to cut that. Now, if I was doing this as a previous video, I probably would have sped that part up, but because we're doing it live, I have to do it this way. So I think this is one of my favorite designer series paper packs. I've already gone through about 3 of them. All right, so I'm just going to cut this whole outer piece off on all 4 corners. And the reason I'm doing this and not doing the full, like all the cutting on one side, it kind of saves on being a little, like getting it mixed up. Okay, so we've got it cut to there. And then what we want to do is we want to cut off these little tabs here as well. You can tell these are new snips. They are nice and sharp. Always, if you're going to have paper and cut with ribbon, make sure that you have dedicated scissors for your ribbon. So then your template, or it should look just like this. Now there's a few other things that we want to do. Is we want to make sure that we miter these corners off. So I'm just going to miter this corner off and this one, and on all of these sides here, just like this. And by pushing it up like this, it makes it easier to see where you're going to do that. So who likes dimensional or 3D projects? I just absolutely love them. Then what you're also going to do, excuse me, you're going to miter not these pieces, but more this piece here, because it's going to tuck in. So basically you're mitering, you know what, I think we can miter all of them. Oh, I missed this one. This just makes it so that it's easier to fit into, because we're going to tuck these ends in onto the box. All right, so we've got that. We've miter. Oh, there we go. So we're just mitering all of these in here. All right, let's see, one more thing here. Now, this is the inside of the box because it's towards the mountain, right? So now what we want to do is we want to go along and turn this this part over, and on these pieces here, when I say these pieces, because these are folding in like this, on these pieces that your flaps are open, not on these pieces here, but on these pieces, we're going to go in and we're going to put some designer series paper. Now this designer series paper, you're going to cut 2 of these at, and I'm just going to go and make sure my notes are correct. These are going to be 7/8 of an inch, 7/8 of an inch by 2 7/8 of an inch. Now on this paper, it happens to be directional paper, but it's very subtle, this directional paper. So when you have directional paper, you want the pattern to be facing towards that part there. So I'm just going to come in with my glue. And we'll just grab a glue here. So see, I'm using these leaves as directional. So look at this. So I'm just going to come in and I'm putting this directional so that it is facing up. And I'll tell you how you can check this, because at this point, if you turn this like this, this is going to be facing up because this part's going to go in as the box. Okay, so there's that piece. And then that's directional that way. Turn it around, and then this paper here is directional this way as well. And I'll show you on another box where you can really see this. It's just going to go on this part right here. So like I say, this is 7/8 by 2 7/8 on this part. And when this goes up, that's directional going up that way and directional going up that way. And on these parts where you can actually get where it's been cut, not on these parts here. Now, when I did this on another box, you can really see the directional paper because of the birds facing this way and the bird facing this way. This one's quite subtle on this piece of paper. All right, so we have that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to turn this over and we're going to use tear and tape. Tear and tape is going to be so important for you to do. And I always use a credit card when I'm using my tear and tape. And it's right here. So I'm just going to come in, and now I want to pick which one I want as the front of my box. I think I want this one. So the front of the box, we're going to put a piece of ribbon. So we're going to put this right in the middle, right here, right up above this score line. And like I say, this is the front of the box. And then we're going to come and just put another piece here. And this just gives the reinforcement just on this particular side. Whoops. Then I'm just going to put tear and tape all on this part here. Say quite involved. Not that. It's fairly simple once you've got the concept of directional or not. Like I say, the ladies went and said that they would pick non-directional paper, but honestly, if you go into a directional and you don't know how to do it, it's a little confusing. So that's why I decided to continue to show directional. So this is the inside of the box and the outside of the box. And I decided that this was going to be the front of the box. So I have a piece of ribbon, and this ribbon happens to be 6.5 inches. And that measurement is really important. So you're just going to take this part off here, and we're going to decide which one we want on the right side. I'm just going to lay this right here, bring this around, and match it up over on this side as well. Just along that seam there. We're just going to check to make sure that that's right. Yeah. So there's the front of our box. There's the back of the box. So now what we're going to do is we're going to attach this part. We're going to put this bottom box all together. So the first thing to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to put glue on my tabs. And I like to let this set for just a bit because it tends to stick better. So I'm going to bring these pieces in just like so. And then when we go to put this together, what's going to happen is we're going to have to hold it in place. So you're going to match that up right even with it right there. And we're going to hold that. Now remember, I've got these pieces here with the glue, but I'm letting them set a bit because it tends to hold better when you do that. Now, when you're doing this with the ribbon, this one's going to take a little bit longer, so you're going to have to hold that ribbon in place. Hold those tabs in place. So we're just going to do that and just hold those. And then this is going to give us the ribbon pull for this box. Like I say, always when things retire, we tend to have to do some other improvisations. So that's what I did with this stamp set. All right, so we just have that. It's almost set in there. Now we're just going to put these two tabs in here and just put them and hold those in place as well. So we've lined those up right with the edges, and we're just holding that in place. So are there any questions so far on this? There's our box. Make sure that they're good and even there. Because by lining it up here, this is what's going to give your box that perfect measurements that's actually going to go together. All right, so we have that like that. So now what we want to do is we want to put these edges down. Now I've got this double piece here because that's the edge where the ribbon is. So let's take the single one on both sides and we'll take that tear and tape off. And we're just going to tuck that right in there and hold that down, burnish that down a bit, and hold this and burnish it a bit. So now we've got the sides of the box, and now let's just go put these two edges. Now, I don't think it matters which ones you put down first. If I have any kind of a lip, I'd rather it show on the side parts. So that's why I always, on the front and the back, I usually always put those tabs down last. So that's just going to go like that. We can take that and burnish that with our bone folder. Do this with our bone folder. And here. And this one. And like I say, these double amounts of the tear and tape just help with, because this is the thicker part with the ribbon behind. So those are just going to fit in right like that, and we'll burnish that as well. So there's the base of our box. All right, so now we have a piece here that happens to be 3 inches across here by 8.5. And I've gone ahead, and oh my goodness, I guess, nope, that score line's there. I've gone ahead and I've scored this at 1 11/16. So you really have to use your paper trimmer with this. And I've also scored it at 2 5/16, and then I turned it around and I scored it at 1 11/16 and 2 3/4. So we're just going to, fold that in. Remember, I'm folding into the mountain because the box bottom was folded in the same way. And you find that boxes will fit a lot better as long as you fold the lid and the bottom as into the mountain or into the belly, whichever you do. Now, like I say, this is going to then, I want to just show you how this goes. It is then going to go like this and fit over onto this box. So it's really important that you know it goes that way, because then we're going to bring in that directional paper again. Hello. And on this piece here, which happens to be, this is 2 7/8 by 2 7/8. Now remember this, I'm going this way. It's going to fit onto the box this way. So what I want to do is I want the directional paper going up and down. So I'll just go and attach that. And that is going to go this way because that's going to go and fit across the box. So I'll show you again that you understand. And what I did with this particular paper was I used these leaves, or the leaf branches. I did it that way. So this is the front of the box, and that's going up and down. Then we have these 2 pieces on the side, and these pieces happen to be 5/16 by 2 7/8. So it's off by 1. Sorry, this one is 15/16 by 2 7/8. And this is for the top part. Remember, these were 7/8. These are 15/16. And because it's going to go around the box like this, I want the directional going up like this, facing this way. So I'll do that one piece first. Because on this particular piece of designer series paper, you won't notice it that much, but I want it to go like this. And then on this side. So it's just going to go like that. And honestly, I really think that I mixed that up. This one should have been these sides. That's okay. You'll know that at least. So now the directional is going up. And when I put this around the box, whoops, I just want to move this bit. It's not quite there. Make sure that that's good and down. And then when this goes on here, it's then going to be up the right way. So it's all directional. Now, before we do this, what we need to do is we need to have this part here has to have an opening in there. So we're going to go ahead. And what I had to use on here was, my goodness, where did it go? I just had it. Here we go. All that dies. These have not retired, and I'm using this particular piece there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this right in the middle of this top part here. Let me use my, you know what, for a special person. And honestly, once you start making it, Pamela, you'll find that it's really not that difficult. You just have to get your hands on to do it. So then I'm just going to come in with my cut and emboss, and this is big enough to use my mini boss. I'm just going to run that through. Remember, always when I use my mini boss, I always use the level 3 on the bottom. I don't use level 1 for this one. I use level 3. It goes through a lot easier. All right, so that's really all we have to cut out with the cut and emboss. So I'm just going to take this part off and save this. If you want to save this for anything else, I'm just going to go ahead and put that back because I know me and my things. So now we've got this part here. We have another piece here, and this is called the mechanism. And this is the part that's going to make this box pop up, this part here. So this piece happens to be 1 inch by 4 inch, and I've scored it at 1 inch. Just wait, did I score that at 1 inch? Yeah, 1 inch, 2 15/16, and at 2 3/4. And then what you're going to do is you're going to do a mountain fold, and a belly fold, just like that. And we want to make sure that those are good and scored. Now, the way that I would do this is so that you don't get mixed up with the mountain and the bellies, is I would go score this like this at the 1 inch, score this at 2 15/16, and I would flip this over and then score it at 2 5/8. And then that would give me the mountain folds and everything else to do. Now, this is the magical part. This is the part that makes everything work together. So this is the right side up. So I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to put some glue right in here. Now, like I say, I had to modify this because we don't have those stitched rectangles anymore. So I'm just going to come in, and this piece here I'm putting in here. So you'll see on the back, I'm just going to bring that down like that. That's in between. You want to make sure there's enough room on either side, and we're just going to hold that just for a second. And then this part is what's going to give us the mechanism. All right, it's almost done. Then what we're going to do is we're just going to turn this over, and I'm going to put tear and tape on one side. So let me just go put this right here. And we're going to fold it over 2 folds over. And this is what makes it line up so easy. Is just take our tear and tape off, just like that, and then just fold this down like this. And there's our box part. Now, if we want, we can turn around and see if that's going to fit through. I'm going to bring it through the back side there. Now, it is snug, but if I did these measurements right, it's going to fit in there just like that. So see how that works? Now what we're going to do is pull this out a bit. And on this part right here, we're going to do the glue again. Now you could use tear and tape. I believe when you're getting an awful lot of things really moving and everything else, you know how hard once you use like tape. So what you're going to do is just put your glue like that, and then you're going to slip it down here, and we're going to line it up right with that back part there. And look at that, I got some glue on there. Now I'm going to push that back a little further so that I can glue it. So we're going to come in and we're going to hold the glue from the inside and here so that it adheres, and then we're going to just hold that. So if you're making one of these, what you can do is you can go in and just stop and start it, and it makes it a lot easier to watch this and to get the measurements and everything else. I will be doing this on a blog post, but it probably won't be for a little bit. So I've got that glue. So I always use just a sponge to do that. So now, I don't know if that's dry yet. So let's just hold that. We want to make sure that that's good and dry. Now what we want to do is, this is the easy part. We can do the stamping, right? So I decided to use, and this is what we used on Saturday too, was the Lasting Joy stamp set. So I'm just going to decorate it with some of this. This Just For You actually came from another stamp set. What one did it come from? Charming Sentiments, I believe. So it's just going to go there. Just like that. And then we have these ones, which are a bunch of flowers. And then there are some little leaves that go in between. So I'm going to come in with my boho blue because that's kind of matching up with what this is. So let's see. And then this, it goes, I don't think I stamped that the right way. I'm going to put it there. And then I can put another, let's see, just going to put, this is not the way that this goes together. I didn't line it up properly, so there we go. And then I've got some single flowers that I can use as well. There we go. And then, of course, what we can do at that point is we can embellish on the rest. So let's make sure that this is good and glued. All right. So we're just going to go ahead and put this on here. Just like so. And this white piece happens to be 2 1/8 by 2 1/8. And this boho blue piece that's right behind it happens to be 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. So I think I've given all the measurements on there. Now, this piece here, when we close this is going to go like this. And you want there to be the bit of a gap so that when you close the whole box, whoops, hold on. Let's see. I got to get this up again. Whoops. It's going in and it shouldn't be going in. Let me just pop this part, just pop it up like that. Then this piece is going to go on here. So I'm going to come in and I'm actually going to use glue again. I know some people don't like using glue, but honestly, the glue sticks the best, especially if it's going to be over a period of time. So this is just going to stick onto here like this. And then, sorry, just like that. We probably should have embellished it at that point. Now, these embellishments that I really like using are the Tinsel Gems, the 3-pack. And they have fresh freesia. They got Coastal Cabana, I think. And they've got this Misty Moonlight. And I really think this Misty Moonlight is gorgeous, these ones. And then we'll just put another one just right down here. So I didn't have anything for the ladies on Saturday on what to put in there. But I had these Brookside, and you could use Ghirardelli chocolates as well. So I just took a piece of designer series paper and I did it 2 7/8. And honestly, I'm just going to go and I'm just going to wrap this. I'm just going to put some tear and tape on there. Just, oh, you know what? Do we want to do the blue inside? Yeah, let's do the blue inside. And this piece, I don't know, I just measured it. So it's 2 3/4 by roughly 6 inches. But it depends on your chocolates that you're putting in anyways. Everything's better with chocolate, right? This happens to be, whoops. I'm going to put this like this. And this is, you could put nuggets in here as well. So we're just going to put that. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to put the navy on the outside, right? Oh, now I'm gonna have to really pull that tight because I don't want that part showing. There we go. There we go. That'll go like that. These chocolates can go right inside here. They fit just perfectly, actually. And there you go there. So you have a pop-up box, just like that. So I have another one done with the other paper. I didn't embellish this one. I could do that right now, actually. And I'm going to go ahead and put, you know what? I think what I'll do is on these flowers, I can put one of those and then put some of these here. And another one on there. There we go. So 2 different boxes. Look, they're identical, but like I say, they just go like this and you just pop that up. Now you could use any kind of ribbon that you wanted. You could do anything like that. But yeah, that kind of gives you something a little bit different to do. That's not a card, but you could also, in this point here, you could put in a little gift card in there as well in order to make it so that it works. So I hope you enjoyed that. Like I say, the key thing to this whole thing is using your trimmer to do the cutting and to do the scoring, because that's when basically you get the best results from that by using that. And like I say, I use all that dies, and I use this particular one here. That, like I say, is because it's still current and you can still do that. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you did like that, give me the thumbs up, share my video. I really do appreciate that. There's nothing like making 3D boxes for people. Make them feel really special, that sort of stuff. Also, if you live in Canada and do not have a demonstrator, I would love to be your demonstrator. So if you have any questions at all, reach out. Just announced, if you do live in Canada, there's another mystery box thing that's coming on Wednesday. So I hope that you do enjoy that. In any event, you guys, thank you for watching. Stay tuned. I'll be back tomorrow. It will be, tomorrow is 26, 27, 26. It'll be at 4:30 tomorrow night with my technique that I'm going to show you. I mean, I'm always excited about the technique challenge. So see you tomorrow, 4:30 Pacific. Bye for now.